Hello everyone, welcome back to the Cat and Rat Show. In this episode, we will be discussing more about RAT, the Retail Acceleration and Transitioning Program. Prakash, in our last episode, we touched upon CAT, and we didn't talk anything about RAT. So let's discuss more about RAT and what is it, the contents, and how is the course structured around.
Okay. So the RAT is very close to my heart because I obviously, with most of my corporate career has been in food retailing, whether with the leading hotels of the world, KFC, Pizza Hut, had my own restaurant. So that's food retailing. Then I went to merchandise retailing, which is Meyer, $2.2 billion retail giant. So, we're talking about anything from a plasma screen or a purple lipstick and anything in between. 1.2 million SKUs. So complex beast. And then subsequently I moved on from there. I also spent time in FMCG supermarkets. So that's another completely different format, but still retail. And then now I also do a bit of work in the corporate world in farming. And that also, again, retail as well. So I've got lots of experience. Now, the point I'm making is retail has evolved from the traditional retailing formats, which used to be, with department stores. And now we got specialty retailers that come along, online retailing, obviously, in a big way. So there are so many different formats which have come up. However, the principles of retail hasn't changed, fundamentals. Retail, there are two things. One is what I call inventory. Inventory can be the biggest asset for any retailer or can be the biggest nightmare for a retailer if you don't know how to manage your inventory, because that impacts your cash flow. And if you have old stock or aged stock, as we call it in retail, don't for a moment think that it'll just disappear and it'll evaporate on its own. No. It's a very considered, structured way how you manage your inventory, because that's cash flow. It actually can erode your sales, erode your profits. And that's where there's a science and an art comes into play when it comes to retailing as a professional. So how do you then stand out and how do you make yourself as that Burj Khalifa, as we were talking about the cat school, how do you become that rat Khalifa? Okay. And I'm using the analogy, in the 18th century, they had these amazing warriors called samurai warriors, Japanese warriors who were known for their skills. They were very, very talented, exceptionally skilled. But they had an issue because the issue was that they would operate in boundaries. They would not cross the boundary. Even if they had to lose their life, they would actually not cross the boundary. They're very protective about their turf. So during the samurai era, they had these assassins, completely faced with men and women, black balaclava, they would put a mask on, and men and women. Some of these assassins were better skilled than the samurai warriors. So from time to time, these samurai warriors would deploy these ninjas, as they were called, these assassins, into enemy camps, and their only mission was to go execute and leave without a trace. And they did that very well. Okay, they didn't care about if you take the corporate world, most of the guys are like the samurai warriors. They would be very territorial. I'm the head of marketing. I'm the head of finance. I'm the head of operations. So very territorial. Whereas the ninjas didn't care a toss about function, department A, B, C. They were skilled in all areas. So if you fast forward in the 21st century, most of the corporate guys are these samurai warriors. Their time is finished. Okay, and especially after COVID, and we are talking about leaner teams, people who are professionals are expected to be having skilled in all the different areas, finance, supply chain, marketing, merchandise, etc. So that's where if I use the analogy of James Bond is that suave, Armani suited James Bond jumping off a plane in a suit, but will get caught by the enemies from time to time. Samurai era, James Bond era is finished. The new age ninja in the 21st century, my avatar, the way I look at it, is Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne, if you've seen the monsters movies, where he was a bad assassin once upon a time, he lost his memory, then he became a good assassin because his muscle memory is still there, his skills are very far advanced. The CIA is after him. He's always 10 steps ahead of the game, where he doesn't have any weapons, 10 people surround him, all go that, where his body moves before his thought. He is that good. So we are wanting to have professionals in the 21st century in the retail space who are not only good technically in all aspects. If you talk about retail, you have different core components: retail strategy, retail buying, retail merchandise planning, retail store management, negotiation, retail supply chain, retail acumen. All of these elements, that's a given. That's an assumed competency that you must have for you to, regardless of which format, FMCG, retailing, department store retailing, specialty retailing, online retailing. You must be good at all these things. Okay. And that's
Prakash, so, okay, these are the attributes required to be successful in the retail. And so in our RAT school, we are going to touch upon each of these topics in detail. Am I right?
Yes, each program, if I talk about retail buying, for example, that's a program on its own. We are offering that as part of the RAT school. Okay, as part of the program at overall school. The strategy, that's a program on its own, but that's also offered. Supply chain, offered in that. Merchandise planning, people would actually have to pay a fortune to just do that one course alone, merchandise planning. We are offering that as part of the RAT school. So you don't need to go looking for 7-8 different courses, different places, all offered under one roof.
That's very important. That's very important because, to shop around because, okay, I am looking for certain areas of expertise, but when I come to a particular program with a particular tutor or guru or trainer, I find that particular module is not there. But in our case, when you're talking of retail, we are guaranteeing the students that the entire modules, what is required for a success in retail, corporate, will be provided. And Prakash, people will be wondering, okay, we are talking of strategy, we're talking of merchandise planning, negotiations, buying. So how long will they take to, study this or go through the course?
Okay. So it all depends on how I'll answer the question by asking a question. How hungry are you is the question that I would ask any professional. Okay. So this is not a magic pill that you pop in that you get nirvana tomorrow morning. No. It's obviously taken years and years of experience that's been offered. We could easily be charging seriously a lot of money if you were to think that way, but we've chosen not to. Instead, we want to actually make it available, it's affordable and available, all under one roof. How long will it take? I would say if you really diligent and you because it's an ocean, literally an ocean that you're getting into. I would highly recommend that you take them in bite size, take it, enjoy that, savor the journey, take the learning, and you can take it to your own workplace, actually make a practical application of that, as in apply that learning in your workplace. This way, this becomes part of your own muscle memory. This is not a program where you like a parrot, you just memorize everything and then you finally go and trying to impress someone. No, that's not the idea. Idea is to really take the learnings, which is all there under one roof, called the RAT School, but then you take them at your own convenience. You can watch, there are video lessons, there are interactive lessons and articles where you can, and there are formulas, you can take them depending on your appetite. Now, don't try to consume all of them at once because you can't. That'll be next to impossible. So you have all that information like a resource library for you. And that is where I think the advantage would be that while you learn something from the school, then you can take it and apply that in your own workplace, make a difference in your top line, bottom line, sales, profit as well, in your company or your business as a retail practitioner. And why not? And then you will enhance your own learning. At the same time, we will have regular master classes we are going to add on. That is also made available. So you have no shortage of content when it comes to retail. There will be a lot more added on as we go along.
Yeah, Prakash, this is very important, which I need to stress, because, as we, today people can compare. Everything is available on the net. People compare. And then there are reviews written. But the most important thing is some people offer courses. But here we are not offering courses. We are offering a library of various courses. So once you dive in, I'm borrowing your words, like it's like a Pacific Ocean or Indian Ocean. You dive, you go deep, and it all depends on how deep you want to go and how fast you want to swim. So, Prakash, why don't you pick up a particular topic from the RAT school, and maybe we can elaborate a bit on it, which you think will be the most appropriate, or
all of them are, each of the ones that we'll be adding a lot more later, eventually, like we'll be adding more as well, like sales, for example, and customer service. All these other modules will be, they have access to, and there'll be lots of them. But let me just focus on the core components of retail. So I want to just simplify, first of all, Babu, just give you a simple analogy of what retail means. Okay, so for you to be a good retail practitioner. Okay, so and I use the analogy of when I was a director of supply chain of this amazing retail giant, I was thinking that supply chain simply meant dirty warehouses and trucks. Far from the truth. Supply chain is the vertebrae of the human body, literally, almost like the vertebrae. It's the idea to cash end to end. And supply chain, most of the retailers these days, they're not competing, one retailer competing with another retailer. They're not. It is the battle of their supply chains. So supply chain is the business. Okay, so this is where I think if I use the analogy, let's take an apple. If you want to buy an apple, let's say, you can take an apple, go to the orchard, pluck an apple from there, or you can go to Kashmir and then get good apples from there. So that's what we call part of the process called sourcing. Sourcing, as in source it from China, Kashmir, orchard, wherever you want to get an apple. Now you get the apple to your mouth. Now make sure that you don't have too many apples going into your mouth because it'll choke you. So you take one apple at a time and you bite so that you make sure that it's digestible. So you bite one apple. That process is called buying. So sourcing is one part, then you get into the thing mouth, you bring it to your mouth, is buying, you bite. One apple goes to the pipe, esophagus, goes to the pipe, that's transportation. So you have different modes of transport, air, sea, road, rail, all these are components which make up. It's not simply just going, where it goes to the pipe. There's a very strategic thinking involved as to which you bring it by air, rail, sea, air, and all the different modes of transport. Comes into the pipe, into your tummy. The tummy is the warehouse. Okay, and there are different types of warehouses. Like if you take a stomach of a cow, there are 4 chambers. It's called ruminant chambers. They, as you probably see in a cow, they always chewing, always. And what they do, they take the food, they chew, they store it, and whenever they're hungry, they bring it back up again. So that's what we call the pull system versus the push system. The pull system is what we call composite warehouse. And then you have what we call the cross-dock, which means the in and out. Fast fashion, for example, they go in and out. It goes out from one end and comes out at the other end. That's what we call cross-docking in supply chain, in retail terms, right? So, and then you come on the other end, that's sales. And then you have all the waste which comes, the cardboard boxes, the security tags, and the plastics, and the hangers. There is a process where we call reverse logistics, because that's also money to be made. How do you reverse engineering the whole thing? So everything is from end to end, idea to cash. I've just given you a simplified version. Now, if we take components within that, within warehouse, how do you plan them? How do you bring only one apple at a time, not 10 apples? That's what we call merchandise planning. That's inventory, because if you're carrying 10 apples, that's cost. There's a cash flow involved in that. So how do you bring one apple at a time? That's merchandise planning. Merchandise planning is literally like the heartbeat of the entire process. So buying is a process. Merchandise planning is a process. A good buyer can become an exceptional buyer if they have very strong merchandise planning background. A good retail CEO can become an exceptional retail CEO if he got strong merchandise planning background. A good retail CEO can become an exceptional retail CEO if he got good fact-based negotiation skills. A good retail CEO become an exceptional retail CEO if he got good store management skills. A good CEO becomes a good exceptional CEO if he got good retail strategy skills. So these are all different components, but they can't be looked at in isolation. But they all come together nicely. And when they come together nicely, that makes you a good all-round retail ninja.
Excellent, Prakash. Excellent. You have given a very thorough overview and interesting. So these modules, are for self-paced learning, and people can. Okay, can you just go into it? How are the modules arranged?
So for example, if I take retail buying, for example, there are some 85 lessons. Okay, so each lesson
just like 85 lessons.
85 lessons. Just one.
Okay.
I use retail buying, for example.
So one module has got 85 lessons.
85 lessons. So if you take merchandise planning, has got something similar, 65, 70 lessons. If you take retail acumen, there are 108 formulas, so 108 lessons. If you take retail strategies, similar. So there are that's very comprehensive. So each module have got interactive lessons which can be learned, self-paced learning. You can watch it on your mobile phone. It's mobile responsive. It can be, so if you're using your mobile phone, you want to learn, you can actually watch the video and you can actually go through interactive lessons. Similarly, you can watch it on iPad or laptop or a computer. And there are exercises for you to do so that you're not just some academic rhetoric, like I said. These are lessons from a practitioner who's been there and done it. So, and these are lessons you can actually take these learnings and you can apply. And that is how your learning will be enhanced. And at the end of all that, there is an assessment at the end. So for you to figure out, you to see how good you are yourself. No one needs to study. Now, the reason why we chose to offer them as a RAT school, so that is not a course, because there will be constant updates and there will be new content being added, and there will be master classes, so that will be for your own benefit. So you can watch it, at your own convenience. When you're sitting back and you say, okay, I want to actually get a quick masterclass on this particular topic, then by all means. So there's enough and more content already there, but we'll be adding lots more. And there'll be other modules like visual merchandising, loss prevention, e-commerce, artificial intelligence, all of these components which make up the new age skills which is required for the 21st century retail.
So e-commerce is already existing, or are we going to add into the school?
It will be something that we will be adding, Bob. Right? So we will most certainly. But what we thought was we start off with enough and more right now, which is enough to keep you consumed and enough and more to really get you going as a retail professional. But then, like anything, e-commerce is only one element of it. So that's one piece of the jigsaw. Like, there we have social media, e-commerce, artificial intelligence. These are new skills that will also be adding on as we move into this in the future.
And when we talk about retail, so it's retail agnostic, any retail industry.
Yes, any, and 100%. So whether you work in supermarkets, whether you work in department stores, specialty stores, fashion outlets, hypermarket, online retailing, offline retailing, kirana shop, doesn't matter. Small corner roadside shop, doesn't matter. You could be a one shop owner, 10 shop owner, everything. This is still relevant.
Prakash, I was thinking in a different.
University student, you're a retail CEO. If you're a retail CEO, this will be a great refresher for you. If you're a retail student wanting to go up, it'll be amazing learning. But if you're a seasoned professional, then it's a nice refresher.
Prakash, can we, right now we are talking of courses and we are talking of individuals and we are talking of moving in a different in a way. Can we offer this course for a particular organization?
100%. So what we can do, that's a great question, Babu. So what we do is, if it's an organization who wants it for their employees, naturally, we can quickly, Babu, we can, if they say, no, we want to customize it and want it exclusively for their own company, we can most certainly white label it, which means that they can have their own logo and have their own institution name and all of that. And which means that that particular portal access is only for their own employees. That's it. And it won't take us long. It's just like a pretty much a quick fix. So we can absolutely make that made possible without a doubt. So depending on the company size and how many participants are there, and yeah, we can customize it as they require. No issues. Of course, there's a little bit of a premium they'll have to pay based on the customization, but yeah, it's doable. Yeah.
Excellent.
And the other beauty, Babu, is that if they want a piece of paper at the end of, for a company, let's say, and if they want the participants to get a certificate at the end, that is also, we can make it possible. So that way then they finish that and they can make sure that there's an assignment and then they can go and get a piece of paper and frame it and put it on the wall. Yeah.
And Prakash, in between, while we were making this cat and rat, the discussions were going on because we had, months and months of discussions, debate, thought process, and then finally we have arrived, at this. I remember that we were discussing about crash courses, giving for taking a particular topic and giving crash 4-week, 8-week, 12-week courses. So can you elaborate on that also in between?
So what we will eventually do, initially like we have the rat school and the cat school, and anyone who wants to be a member of that, by all means you have access to all of the courses we spoke about. But if they are wanting to now get smaller, like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, intense immersion. So, for example, retail metrics or like budgeting or forecasting. That's like specific components of retail. So we may actually be offering that from time to time, like 4 and 6 week courses. Absolutely, it's not mandatory at all that everyone has to. But if they feel that they want to join in, then most certainly the people who are already part of the rat school, naturally they will benefit. There's some kind of a concession we'll provide them. So these are courses that so they don't need to get the whole lot. And I'm saying that rat school has got like the accordion, it's got the entire end-to-end program offer. But they only want a piece of it. So yeah, by all means, we'll actually give them a small piece of the mouth organ version, I call it. Yeah.
So having said that, I think we need to tell about the membership portal because Cat and Rat School are part of a membership portal because today what we are going to give our students is, an ocean, Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, all together combined, and you're made as a portal. And can you talk more about that?
So both the schools, both the cat school and the rat school are offered in the form of a membership portal. Membership portal meaning there's no contract or anything locked in. It's a monthly EMI, as a term called EMI, or a monthly payment, subscription based. It's a very nominal amount. You have to just pay that on a monthly basis, or you can pay upfront for the year if that is the choice. You save some money as well. Again, it's not a big amount, so you the investment that you're making is literally, seriously, and I'm saying is hardly anything in the scheme of things. So you can pay month to month, and you have full access 24/7 for all the content past and future, any new content coming, as long as you are a paid member of the community. There's a lot of free resources available anyway inside of our school and our website. But on top of that, if they still people are interested in wanting to get into the proper, the depth of this, then by all means, I think the school will be a benefit. What is also great inside the membership portal, Babu, as we know, we are offering is also the weekly mentoring, live mentoring. So besides the self-paced learning, besides the video lessons, the interactive lessons, all of that, every week in the CAT school, every Saturday, there's a 90-minute free live, which is included as part of this, live mentoring. And also they have access to the community, which is where all the members, other members can hang out and you can network, which otherwise you would have to pay, other places where you have to network, meaning you have to then go and pay a premium. You don't, none of that. So it's all included as part of this. So you can network, you can be part of the community, you can attend the live mentoring program. And even if you do miss any live mentoring sessions, which I would highly recommend you should attend, because that's a forum that you can ask any clarifying questions, then you can, take advantage of. But even if you do miss, there is no need to worry because the recordings are made available. And,
Good, excellent, Prakash. So today's session, was very informative, very insightful. We spoke about the RAT program, the RAT school, the various topics, and the self-paced learning, interactive learning. Excellent. So as of now, I think this is enough for today's episode. And thank you, and see you soon.
Done. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone inside the school, right, Babu? So we'll next, thank you again. It was really enjoyable. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.